when you take the oxygen, or not the oxygen, when you breathe in your lungs, you bring air with the nitrogen and with the other gases into your lung. And then the tunnels, the veins of the lung narrows as much as possible. In your stomach, you have acids and others to convert the food in that place. To convert the food, how come I don't take colors? To convert the food from matter state to a nano state to a gas state, that when it goes in your intestine, it becomes plasmatic, transfers the energy through the wall of the intestine into your lymph. The reason we have liquid in our lungs is the same process. The liquid is another caustic combination, converting the gases into a nano, into the GANs, and then as they go to the last bit, they transfer the energy to the blood cells. So, in fact, a lung is a digestion system, conversion system, the same as the stomach. The stomach is for the solid and liquid, the lung is for the air. Because man was created out of the air of this environment first. There are amino acid. Amino acid is the combination of the gases of oxygen, carbon, nitrogen, and hydrogen, which is in the environment of this planet. And plus, if we look in some of the amino acids, there are other gases attached to as well, which man has never looked into, but maybe it's time to do. So when you breathe air in, you bring it into the digestion system of the salt of the lung, to convert it to a gas, to a plasmatic condition, to the field, and then it absorbs, it transfers energy out. And as we have said many times, nitrogen is a centralizer which releases energy at the rate of conversion. So you have a oxygen which gives its energy for conversion. What comes out of it is the balance of carbon, or what you call CO2, because then it attaches itself to its own creator, and we say we inhale CO2. The process is an instant in the lung of the man. So when you breathe, when you have a problem with the physical structure of the lung, like tumors or whatever, COPD or whatever, when you breathe air through the already produced GAN system, in a way what you do is very simple. Here, instead of converting the energy in the lung, the energy conversion is already done as a GANs vapor, so when it comes, immediately is absorbed by the lung. So in being absorbed, it gives a relaxing time for the lung to recover, because now the lung veins do not need to expand and shrink. So the energy is already, you've taken your lung. These systems, these breathing systems which you make with the GANs, is in fact, it's like the, what do you call it, the mechanical heart they make, the mechanical lungs they make to help you. These are those systems. I've used this effectively many years. So what you do, instead of breathing, converting in your lung, you bring the air with already loaded, the same as the soap where you added the CO2 to. Now you load the oxygen or the carbon or the nitrogen which comes from the air, you add it into it. So it's loaded. When it comes, but it doesn't need to do the conversion because it already received extra energy. You change the environment of the cell and you see the body has time to heal, to recover, and transfer energy out. When you put the two pads inside out on either side, is again, is you can't do what you do with the air, where in the mechanical system you connected the nano-coated material from one patch to another. Here, as we see with the scientific, with the doctors, they tell you he's got the two pads, he uses the air, the patch dictates where I want the energy to be conserved. Most probably, you can walk away, if it's not too late, with the lung cancer. But you cannot use these patches. You need almond to make a patch for the body, because the cancer conversion could be in other limbs which are imbalanced, the same as the lymph of the lung. You understand? So you have to use a full body system for every cancer, not just because you see it in the lung. Because if you don't process it properly, in 6 months' time, it'll be in liver, or it's already in the liver, it shows itself in liver in 6 months' time. But the process when you breathe, the lymph, the CO2 gains water from it, as the air goes through it, it carries exactly like the soap. They put an or Cl or whatever they did with CO2, and so it killed the germs. Because the energy was low, germ had to give energy to it. Here, you have the air, it's additional energy, so the body doesn't need to absorb or convert the gans so much. Then you find out the body has time to relax because it's received its energy, and then it has a time to heal, it has a time to repair. The energy was used for pressurizing the lung to absorb the energy of it for the blood. Now it uses that energy because it's receiving it from inhaling of the new energized gas for healing itself, and then it goes. I was explaining this to a doctor very recently. These breathing systems are like mechanical hearts. You know, it's become, if you can afford it, nowadays if you have a heart problem, certain heart problems, they disconnect your heart and connect it to a mechanical system for 6 months or a year. Your heart still works in conjunction with the mechanical heart, but because there is not much pressure on it, it allows it to recover from its damages, and then they take the system away and you start working perfectly as before. These breathing systems are the same as those, but it's a natural process. I'll give you a tip. A lot of people who have heart problem, a lot of people, even certain type of blockage in the vein. Please do not try this without the supervision of a doctor who is part of the Keshe Foundation knowledge, understands, and can support it. This is for the doctors who work with us, they listen to this program. Our Chinese doctors in the Chinese team in China, this is directed to you because I know you work on that way. If you make ratio 8 CO2, 6 CO2, 3 CH3, 1 CuO. Ratio is important. Ratio is CO2 6, CuO2 1. If you want a full effect, CH3 3. If you use this ratio and put this patch on, you will get physical repair. But most of the heart problems has a psychological, because the heart is the feeder of the psychological part of the body of the man. You can do a very simple. You do CO2 5, CH3 2, COU2 1, and you add zinc oxide 1. This is for the doctors. Please, if you're not a doctor, because if you use it, you feel the change palpation different, and you have to be a doctor to be able to control it. We teach everyone on this platform what's got not to do with you, do not try. So if you're a doctor, you're looking for vein blockage, you're looking for support of the heart valve to replace, or you want to do it, is very much this kind of combination. CO2 is a cross formation information between the blood, and CO2, CuO is building of the muscles. You have to change the ratio according to what you need. CH3 is to energize the blood, that the body does not look for the energy to put pressure on the lungs to bring energies for itself. It supports itself in that point. And then because the blood of the man is a supporter of his emotion, for his body works, you have to add the zinc to support the energy of the emotion. You'll find out heart recoveries in 14 to 21 days, up to 4 weeks. The change, but you have to get the combination right, and you have to understand the condition of your patients correctly to be able to do this. There is no need for open heart surgeries for blood clot or blockages of the main arteries. If you develop a patch in the teaching with the doctors, if you remind me, I can teach you how to do it. You can actually release and open the arteries very, very softly with this process without the need for open heart surgeries, transfer of the blood vessels. It's a special technique. I'll teach you what to do because it's very dangerous if it's not known. Do not touch it, but we expand on the knowledge. Doctors have to understand how they can help themselves. If you do this, if you are not knowledgeable and you're not a doctor, if you put these patches on your heart, you feel a pressure. Means it's interacting with you, do not touch. Because these are powerful systems, and you can put a patch in the front, patch in the back, and within 6-8 weeks, there is no need for any kind of heart surgery at all. In certain cases, where it's diagnosed properly, when it's handled properly, and you can see your patient walking away. If you change the combination in a slightly different way, it's good for where the heart valve has collapsed or damaged. You rebuild the heart valve directly while it's in the heart working without operating anything else. Then this needs a special combination. We don't teach this thing in public, but it's good for the doctor sitting in the background to remind me in the doctor's teaching and teach you. If you're not a doctor, do not touch. You can put yourself and the others at risk because this is very, very, very delicate. I use it. I'm fully aware of the knowledge in how to use it. And you can do wonders with this kind of things, which can be done. You can use this in conjunction with the breathing system to support the lung, that it doesn't take pressure. You give the lung a rest. You give a lung rest. In having the rest, it allows the development of what it needs or repair of what it needs. Because at the end of the day, what is created in the lung is to feed the energy into the physicality of the body, and that's what the lung does. It's here to operate with the heart. So in certain approach with a mixture of the breathing, you support the energy delivery to the heart, you give a heart a rest exactly like a lung, and then you allow a repair. It has to be done by physicians. If you are not, please, I've seen a lot of stupidity from a lot of people making whatever. This is not a child play.